Hey, my name is Yale Wall, and I have kind of an adventure channel here on YouTube where me and my family just pursue adventure at every turn. And I wanted to give you kind of a behind the scenes look on how we capture that adventure. So if you're a tech guy, watch. If you just love our videos, then watch and see how we do this. But for the last 6 months, this Zhiyun M3 has taken us to some incredible places, and we've seen some amazing temples. We've gotten some really cool hyperlapse, time-lapse shots. I've even gotten to ride in a Lamborghini, and this thing just made it really pop and come alive. And it's been an awesome, incredible thing. But this new DJI RS3 Mini, I think is gonna give it a run for its money. Now, at the end of the day, both of these are great backpack gimbals as opposed to one of these massive Ronin gimbals. Man, this thing is just beefy and ridiculous, and it spins around. This is not gonna go anywhere with you. At the end of the day, I think both of these are gonna be good options, but which one wins? And the only way to really figure this out is to pit them against each other, Street Fighter style. So in order to really test this, we're gonna have to take it to the streets. It is Street Fighter after all. And we wanna put the A7C on the DJI because it weighs a little bit more than the ZV-E10 on the Zhiyun. Yeah, this is gonna be pretty cool. So let's go to the street and let's see what we can do with this. Okay, so we're out here in downtown Indianapolis, and we're gonna take these two gimbals and put them to the test and just kind of see which one's which, what does better, what does worse. And yeah, let's test them out.
Round one, fight!
So test one is I'm gonna just walk and talk. This is not the least embarrassed I've ever been, but basically I'm trying to kind of hold these on myself. We'll see what kind of bounce there is, see what kind of feeling you get when you wobble them a little bit. But yeah, let's cut through a park. Oh, could it handle the hard move? I don't know. We're gonna have to see. Stereo. I'm so glad there aren't people around. Okay, so we're walking through the park. We're gonna see what kind of bounce there is on these and how it works just holding them out a couple feet in front of me. Okay, now Yale in the studio, see how this looks. Go. Okay, let's take a look at this footage here. You can see on the left here, the DJI has a really super stable background. The right side, it's bouncing just a little bit on the trees with every step. Honestly though, at the end of the day, they both do a really good job of just this simple walking, and really I can't fault them for it. So we'll make it a tie on this one and then head back out downtown and check out our running test.
Round two, fight!
All right, ready? Go! All right, now, run to Autumn, go!
I did not like that part.
What did I look like?
Ridiculous.
Nice. What do I look like normally?
Ridiculous.
Well, normal then. How do you turn these around? Okay, now that we are sufficiently winded, I'm gonna follow you, Autumn, and see if it can track you running. All right, ready?
Oh,
go.
Me? What? Me?
Go.
Hold on.
Faster.
I don't know.
Faster.
Faster. I'm not a sprinter. I'm a distance runner.
Well, then run a distance. All right, nap time? Nap time.
You promised me queso.
You'll get your queso. Okay, first, go to the studio and see how that worked. And with the running one, this one was different because I had to run and it sucked, but it doesn't matter. Okay, so if you look at it though, the DJI on the left here has a much more stable background while it's moving, especially while I'm tracking Autumn running here. You can see the background's not moving at all, and there's like a fuzz and a jitter on the right-hand side that just really kind of messes up the video. So the DJI gets the clear win here. So let's move to something that I think is one of the best things about gimbals is the motion lapse. Let's check this out.
Round three, fight!
Okay, so we've got it set up to do a motion lapse where we're gonna point down the street and then point up at the sky. It's a pretty windy day, so I think this will look pretty cool, but we'll see how they handle it with the stability and the movement and all that. So time lapses are finishing up. You can already tell the Zhiyun one is kind of tilting sideways. The DJI is holding up great. Oh, and it's down. It fell. And somehow the light's on it, but It couldn't handle the tiny camera with the tiny lens with no ND filter. It fell over. This is not looking good, but we'll see. Okay, head back to the studio. Let's look at the footage and see which one's better. At least that one died after. For the motion lapse, I barely even have to say anything because it fell. Like the Zhiyun fell. Like that right there is an issue. If that was on top of a tripod, it really could have gone badly. But you can see even just the sweeping across, the DJI just does a much better job of keeping it stable and keeping it solid. I will say though, from a usability standpoint, I love that the Zhiyun, you can set the in and out points on the actual screen, and the DJI, you have to do that through the app. But I mean, it's hands down, DJI wins this one. Okay, now we check out the hyperlapse, which is one of the coolest things you can do with a gimbal.
Round 4, fight!
So now we're gonna try the test where we get a hyperlapse and walk through the buildings with it on a time lapse and see how shaky they are. So hopefully we get a good video. We'll see. We're gonna be walking a while.
Okay, if you're enjoying watching Yale walk this far holding 2 gimbals as much as I am right now, like this video.
Oh. I tell you one thing, both are really heavy when you walk 4 blocks and hold them out in front of you. So the Zhiyun was like seriously bouncing, like rocking back and forth. And granted, this is a bigger setup for that rig, but it's totally within the realms of what they say is doable. This already felt more stable, but let's see in the studio what it looks like. Okay, on the hyperlapse here, you can see the Zhiyun is just like shaking all over the place. It just makes the whole thing less clear. You can see it just looks like it's a better video. Granted, the A7C is a better camera, but not by that much. The biggest thing is with every little bump, if you have it in normal speed, it's easier to see the bump, and it kind of goes away with the fast speed here. But when you speed it up, it almost just blurs out the background, and you can kind of see it just fuzzes the whole thing, and it just doesn't look quite as clear. That can be fixed in post, but again, easy win for the DJI. So now we're gonna look at these 2 gimbals in the studio here and look at some of the features of them and just see which one's better. We've got 3 more rounds for you. Let's see which one wins.
Round 5, fight!
So one of the most important things about having these gimbals with you is using them for cinematic handheld shots of just holding them and rotating around something and getting something that you could only get with a slider. So where I saw this weird Mr. Tumnus in the park, you can kind of rotate around him with both cameras and you can see both of them do a pretty good job. Even looking down this street and looking up, the Zhiyun has a little bit of trouble just because of the weight while it's pointing up, but it's really, again, not a huge deal. And even looking at this car, they both stay pretty solid, pretty simple. It works pretty well. The one thing that I'll say is that the DJI has a trigger on the back to hold it and lock it in position, and it actually works. The Zhiyun has one too, but it does this weird shutter thing where it kind of like pops the camera into place and it ruins the footage. So honestly, I'm gonna give it to them even here. They pretty much tie on this one. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. They work. It's a little smaller, easier to pack on the Zhiyun, but they're both pretty good.
Round 6, fight!
Okay, next we have to look at the app because both of these are app controlled, so you can use your phone to pan and tilt and do whatever you need to do. The DJI app does a little bit more. The Zhiyun app is a little bit better looking. At the end of the day, neither of them are gonna really affect the performance. You can't do the motion lapses and things like that with the app on the Zhiyun. You can only do it on the screen. And on the DJI, you can only do it on the app, not on the screen. Personally, I would rather have the screen ability, but the app works really, really well. At the end of the day, they both work. It's an app, it'll control it. They're even.
Round 7, fight!
Okay, lastly, and probably most importantly, like right under actual performance is the specs and features, and each of these shine in very different ways. If they could make a little gimbal baby, it would be perfect, but then on this video, I'd get demonetized because it'd be not good for kids. You know, let's move on. So they each have their own things. The biggest thing for me is Archiswiss compatibility, where you can actually connect it to the bottom of your camera well. This thing has it built in, the DJI. The Zhiyun, I added an aftermarket one, which gives it some extra height and kind of messes up the balance of it a little bit, but it works. This one though also does not work with peak design clips. So what I did is ground down the bottom of the peak design clip so that it fits and it's not too tall. But then I had to add tape to my peak design tripod. It's this big mess, but it works. And at the end of the day, I need to be able to take it off of one thing, put it onto another quickly, and that's how it works. Secondly is portrait mode. This thing, you can take the little plate, put it on there, you kind of take it apart, put it back together, and it works in portrait mode. In the Zhiyun one, you just click a button and it goes into portrait mode, which is really cool if you like that. I don't, whatever. Then we get connectivity. This thing always said it was going to connect with the Sony cameras that I have. Never did. It just didn't work. They said one day it's coming, it didn't come. The DJI one works with Bluetooth. It works right out of the box. It's incredible. I love being able to hit the little record button and have it do something and not just annoy me. Lastly, they also have a couple just kind of their own features that are different than other gimbals. This one has a light on it, which is really cool. There's a microphone attachment you can do. There's some other cool things you can do with this one. Honestly though, I thought I'd use the light. I don't. It doesn't really matter a whole lot, but if you like that, then you like that. With this one, the screen is better. The feel of it is better. It's just more solid. I think just feature-wise, this is just a better gimbal. Also, just doing the motion lapses on the DJI one, you can pick anywhere from like 1 second to 10 minutes. This one, the minimum is a minute, so you can really only do motion lapses, not just motion movements. On this one, you can pan really quickly. This one, it's a minimum of a minute, which just really limits it. So at the end of the day, there's not even a question for me. The DJI wins this one, and for me, it's because of the Arca Swiss. Like that just makes it such a big thing, because here you have to have this big old plate to get it connected, and it's kind of cool, but it's just not the same. This one is just way better. So specs and features, DJI absolutely takes the cake.
Hadouken! Win!
At the end of the day, it's not even a question. The DJI wins the fight, hands down. That's just the end of it. Like the DJI is so much better in every way, except for a couple little kind of gimmicky things. This one is going to join us on all our future adventures, and I hope you join us on those too, because at the end of the day, this is just a tool that's gonna give us incredible experiences all over the world. Join us on those experiences, hit subscribe, follow along. Thank you for watching. Also, if you're interested in buying either of these, you can click the link in the thing below and I'll get like, I don't know, 10 cents or something like that. Or you can buy this on eBay because that's where it's going. So thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Hey, what's up? My name is Yale Wall. What am I doing with my hand? So why are we going to all this trouble to make the beginning just like a little bit better?
Maybe because you overdo everything?
Because I overdo everything. I take that as a compliment. Got a bread truck in that one. It's a bonus bread truck. I know you were worried about us, but we got queso. All is right with the world.